this video, I want to show you how you can create a link inside of a deal record in HubSpot that will autofill a booking form. In this case, you can book me, but the same thing is true for Calendly or any other calendar scheduling tool with known data inside of HubSpot. So if you have fields, first name, last name, project type, email addresses, phone numbers, street addresses, city, state, all that stuff that's already inside of HubSpot, we can auto-populate a booking form for you based on that, and it is customized on every single deal inside of HubSpot. So I'm going to dive through step by step how we've set this up and how we've made a template to actually make this process faster when we're replicating or trying to do this more frequently. So first thing I'm going to show you is this is the direction or the state that we're heading towards, which is to have a series of qualification questions that get asked inside of HubSpot. And then there's two links, autofill our booking form, or the other one, which is move to sales pipeline and run some of the automations that we use in our booking automation, but we don't necessarily need an appointment. So those are the two fields that we need to create inside of our new account here. So we're going to first do this. So inside of our make account, this is the automation that we're going to be using to pull this off. And I want to export this blueprint. And then I'm going to go into our account here. So inside of here, I'm going to make a new scenario. And this scenario we are going to call M0.5. And the reason we call that's our marketing automation. And I guess I'll just pull this in. So set appointment. We're going to call this M0.5. So I've got that. Now I'm going to import the blueprint that I just exported. So choose, here's my blueprint, pull that in. And now I have this M0.5 automation, and this webhook that I created here, I need to actually make in order to do the property. So now I'm going to create a new webhook, and we're going to call this, and actually we'll say SHP M0.5 booking link automation from HubSpot. And we're going to create that. So now I have my URL. Now I can dive into the deal properties inside of my account and make the properties that I was just discussing. So I can call the property label, in this case we'll call it autofill, you can book me booking link. And we're going to make this a deal type. And then the group that this is going to be in is deal information. And we're just going to say this is a link that will take you to the booking page of the deal owner and autofill the you can book me page with details in the deal. So that's what we need there. And field type is going to be a calculation, and the output is going to be a string. And now we're going to use a simple formula here, concatenate. And the first part of the string that we want to bring in is the URL. And then if you look at how we have structured this for another client, we need to also pull in the deal ID, so question mark deal ID, and whether true or false, whether we need the calendar or not. So when I go over here, you can see, or let's go back to where I'm at here. So that's the first part of the string. Then we're going to do, or actually we need question mark deal ID, and let's make sure that I'm doing all lowercase. Yeah, so question mark deal ID equal sign, and then I want to concatenate the record ID of the deal. So we're going to do properties record ID, and I need to convert this number to a string. So we're gonna have to add in one more thing here that's called string. So number to string. And we want to put this inside of that. So number to string. And then we're going to also add some more text here. And we'll do an and sign and then do calendar. And we have the calendar equals true. So calendar equals true. And this is going to be when this is clicked, it's going to go down the route in here of if we do want a calendar, it's going to go down here. So if calendar equals true, it goes there. So now I can go ahead and click test formula. Let's go ahead and put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 test formula. And you can see here that it's pulling in the deal ID and calendar equals true. So I can go ahead and click that, create. And then I want to make one other link. So we're going to do similar. It'll just say no calendar event needed, move to sales pipeline. And then we should also put in create Paint Scout and company cam. All right, and we're going to put this into deal information again, where this is a link to run the booking automation without requiring a booking to take place inside of You Can Book Me. All right, so we're going to go field type, and this is again going to be calculation. And this is a custom equation. Output's going to be a string. Once again, we do concatenate, pull in that URL. So copy that, paste in the URL, do quotes, and we're going to do that string, number to string. And we want to put in the record ID of the deal, record ID. Oh, and almost forgot we needed the question mark, deal underscore ID equals. And then one more thing here that's going to be &, calendar equals false. So we have calendar equals true, calendar equals false. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, test formula. And there's our output, just like we wanted. So I can go ahead and do that. We're going to create that variable or that property. And now it's still waiting for the structure to be determined. So that property that I just made inside of here, if I go to a particular deal now, so let's go to Darth Vader, and I want to make those qualification questions like I mentioned. I need to go to the deal, and I'm modifying the deal. So create the deal, and here, okay, now this is where I want to add the card for the qualification questions. Okay, now what I want is project type, description, project contact email. So we have first name, last name, email, phone, project type. Let's do the source. And I think, oh yeah, and then deal owner. That's the other big one. Our booking links, autofill booking link. And the other one is no calendar event needed. So now we got all those. I can save. Oh, and I also want to say only show this. So only show this when the stage is one of these, because once it's lost in the marketing pipeline, I don't need to see it anymore. So save that, save and exit. Now I've got my qualification questions for new deals. You can go determine that data structure by clicking to project types, deal description, test, first name, Darth Vader, whoops. And I actually want to show you, if I don't put in a value here, it'll pull it from the contact, so we're still good there. And I had the same thing for the email and phone. If I don't put something in, it'll take it from the contact. So source is going to be web search. Deal owner is going to be, I'm going to save. And now I'm going to open this link, and you'll see in here, it says successfully determined. So I can go in, and now I just need to remap all of these to the correct one for Steve Holloway painting. We're going to map all those. Click OK. All these need to be switched to Steve Holloway. All right, so this part is a little tedious, but you'll see why we do it this way. So doing Steve Holloway painting on all these. All right, so we have all that stuff in here. The next thing we need to do is make sure that these webhook responses are correct. It looks like those are all good. And then this right here. So our final one can take it to, that's good. So, okay, Google Sheet. This also needs to be remapped, and we want to go to the, let's do select from all. And the sheet that I want to connect to is this one. So I'm going to grab, copy, make sure I'm pulling in the right one. And I want to use the HS user IDs tab, and I'm looking up owner ID in the first column, and I want it to be equal to the owner ID that came from step 31. So that's correct. Do the same thing down here. Okay, so now basically we're just going to verify that we like the way all this is set up. So webhook's going to come in. If calendar is true, it goes down here. It's going to grab the deal ID. Then here, it's just setting the contact ID that's associated with that. This one's going to be the company ID that's associated with that. If there's no contact found, it's going to say no associated contact, please try again. If the contact exists, it'll get that contact. That's good. Then then it will get the company. So no company, it continues on. Then we're going to get the deal ID that was submitted. Then we're going to look up who that person, the owner of the deal is. And then when we get to no deal or this one here, if there's no deal owner or calendar, so if the response to this is, in this case, this client, we use You Can Book Me. So these are all the calendars that we need to pull in. So I'm going to copy these links. And then we're going to go into okay, so all of these now, we need to move to the correct one. So this is, I'm just going to move this temporarily so I can put these in correctly. So he's not even in here, so I got to add him. And then because it's missing, we need to go grab his contact or his HubSpot user ID. So we're going to go to properties, search for owner. So maybe there, make sure we're using the same email for him. We're just going to assume that it's the same as the others. So, and then let's move this back to column Q. All right, and what other ones should we pull in? So we're going to pull in the phone number and the address. Put this in here as well. All right, so we have all those in there now. And what that's going to allow us to do is inside of the make automation, I click OK. So it's going to search for user ID, and then it's going to return the calendar. So here we've got You Can Book Me calendar, which should be fine. And I should make sure that each one of these booking calendars has a slash at the end, or that's going to cause an error. So I want each one of these to have a slash. I'm going to do find and replace .me with a .me slash. And let's take that one out. Okay, so now we've got all of our links, and let's go ahead and test this thing. So I'm going to turn this on, and we are going to say turn it on, save, and we need to turn this back to SHP. All right, back up, save. Let's go see if this works. So if we come back here, back to the Darth Vader deal, here's my deal. Click the booking link. So I select that. It's going to process, open up calendar. I can click Friday, 9 a.m. and all the information that I had put on there is now filled out in here. So then there's less to do here. And you can see that it also grabbed the Vader, or the last name Vader. I didn't put in a gender of the caller in here, so it didn't fill that out yet. But if I would have put in a company name or any of those things, it would have automatically, or let's actually do this. Let's do this test. If I associate this with Boolean and click next, save. So now if I refresh and click this again, autofill booking link, and company name has been filled because their company is associated. So how sweet is that? That is the setup process for this internal booking, and do a couple other tests to make sure it's working. And we also want to test not doing anything. So now I'm not booking. And if it works correctly, we should see, oh, that was a close one. One thing that we need to change on this one is it's taking me to the other HubSpot portal. So I need to grab the portal ID of this client. So grab that one, copy, let's go into here, paste in, instead of this ID, we're going to click that one, click OK. And then there's one other thing that needs to be adjusted. Instead of making a request to other clients portal, this is actually really, really big. We need to make sure that we're sending the traffic to. So to do that, we're going to go to, and we need to get the booking. All right, so I'm going to continue through this next step in the process here of setting up this automation that we have that we're calling M0.5. So this automation, when it goes down the path of no calendar, there's a path here that sends a webhook to right here. It makes a request to another make automation. And the make automation that it's referencing is, pull up this tab, is another template that we're going to create. And that is for, we have the new appointment booking. So this is the new, you can book me appointment structure. We're going to copy this, export. So we're taking the blueprint from this template and we're going to load it into a new one here. So inside of Steve Holloway's folder. Okay, so I'm going to make a new scenario here. I can import the blueprint that I just exported. And this is number 5. So I pull this in. And we're going to change the name of this to be SHP M3.1. And so what this is doing is saying add here. So we're going to call this M3 new. You can book me booking or no calendar. Okay, so we do that. Click OK. Copy this address. So this link is where right here we're going to put in the correct link. So now the data is going to come from here and to that other location. And then all this stuff still should all be the same. Nothing has changed here. It's going to be all the same data. That's all good. There might be actually a couple things that are changed here because these are referencing HubSpot. And so the deal names or like the names of the specific properties might be subtly different. So we'll have to check that in a second. But everything else looks like it should be good there. So I click OK, and then I'm going to go to one. So now the automation is going to run. It goes and does all this stuff. We need to switch all of these modules to be the correct account. So we're going to switch this over to an account that has access. So I'm going to switch to this one. So this is the sheet that we want to find for the client. I don't know why, but it's not coming in. So I'm just going to grab the part of the URL here, copy that, then go back to this, and we're going to paste in, so we'll do map, and then paste in the actual URL, and then click OK. So that'll run. That's good. This one is getting the email. Then we're combining emails. That's fine. Creating variables. So format, estimate date, company name, default value, project type. Okay, so that's all fine. Then here we have switching over to the and we're good there. So click OK. All these need to be switched to Steve, and then just verify that everything here is mapped correctly. That looks good. Wouldn't have the company cam yet because it hasn't been created. So that's fine. Deal name, deal stage. So the deal stage is going to be slightly different. So we need to pull up their HubSpot account. So here's their HubSpot account. And we need to go to their deals pipeline, go to the sales pipeline, and then the bid scheduled stage. That's the one that we want, bid scheduled. So copy that, and we'll pull this open, and we need to change the deal stage to the correct one. Then we want this to be going to the bid scheduled stage. Make sure everything else looks good. That's fine. Pipeline is at default. Let's see. Yeah, sales pipeline is default, so we're good there. And then we have the project contact, all that looks good. Scheduled by source, you can book me ID, gender of caller. I think we are good there. I think the rest of that's okay. We'll continue on. Once again, let's grab that stage ID, copy, paste it here. And we are going to want to put that in all these. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this. So I can check that all of the integrations are switched to. That's good. The rest of these, I think we're fine. Okay, now it gets to this part where we're sending to Zapier. So this is sending to a Zapier hook, and here's the data that we're transferring to Zapier. So what we need to do is go into Zapier, and because this was the template from, we want to take this M3.2 one here. So you can't do it unless you're inside of it to clone it. So we're going to go in here and then click duplicate. So once we duplicate, we now need to rename this to be SHP, and probably going to want to move this. I always like doing that before I forget to do it. So we can go back to here, and so now we should have one in here that's called SHP, and there's this one for SHP. We're going to take that and move it to Steve folder, and then we will continue from there. So now if I go down to folder, now in this we have that SHM 3.2. And again, the reason that we have this is just specifically because Paint Scout does not integrate with Make. So we have to go through Zapier in order to do this. So the webhook that we created here, we want to copy this webhook, go back to our automation. And I just realized one thing we always need to do is change include SHP in there. That's fine. We're going to save this. Right here, we want to paste in that URL from Zapier. So we just changed it to this one. So now we have that copy like that, and okay, copy, okay. Okay, well, the last thing here is, I don't think that we want any of these. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those because I don't know why we would be deleting the events. So now we can actually delete this router as well. So the webhook comes in right to there. All this stuff runs and it's all redirecting or connected to now. So that's good. Now, if we have this webhook data that's coming in here, we need to make sure that we're mapping correctly. So if we click test trigger, we can go to this automation and we can send data here. So run this module only, and we're just going to click OK, and it should send a bunch of blank data here. Testing. Yeah, so it did pull all this stuff in, but it's all blank, which is fine. And now we can go make sure that all of these fields, so we do need to change the Paint Scout account. We want this to be using painters, and continue, and it's pulling in the email. That's fine. Continue and test. And then is Paint Scout contact found? Change all of these to Steve. Change the company to the new company, or the company cam to the new company as well. All this again should be the same company. No data, that looks fine. Continue, skip test. And the final one here, switch this as well. Steve. So we're going to go back and update the deal in HubSpot. It's going to get the deal ID. Go paste in the company cam link. So continue, skip test. Now we're going to go on this side, remap all those. So basically every single one of these just needs to be remapped to the new account. And then because all the data is the same, we can skip the tests on all of these. Okay, so now we have successfully switched everyone's account and all that. So because everything is now, this is the last one we have to test. So we want to click, let's go to here, continue, 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 and click continue. Let's try this one, continue. Okay, so now everything's tested. We can click publish. So now we have that set up. And if we go backwards, this was the other one that we actually should be able to turn on because we haven't changed anything. So I'm going to turn this on. We have this Zap turning on right now, and I can save this, go back. So now I should have this one, which is going to kick off an automation to that one, and then we should be able to actually see this all work now. And let's go ahead and try it out. So if I go into account, we're going to do this test Darth Vader deal. So now I have this deal, and if I click, we're in the lead not contacted stage. Oh, I forgot to save. Whoops. So it did just run, but then it went to the other account. So we're going to try one more time. So everything is staged. Click that, and now I can see it runs. It goes here. We ran into an error. So gender of caller does not exist, and referral name does not exist. So let's go look at what we have inside of the account here. Properties, deal. So they just don't have the gender one, and then the referral. So they have neither one of those. So the solution there when we run into that is we just need to come in, and on each one of these, we're going to have to delete it. So we want to find the gender field and delete that. So we're going to get rid of that. And the referral one, they don't have that either. Click OK. Next one, same thing. So in this case, the reason why we're doing this is because the one that we cloned had slightly different information than the one that we are cloning to. So we just need to remove the ones that don't exist. Now we're going to save this one more time. Let's go back and we will watch it run again. So let's go to our deal here. I'm going to refresh, see if it's still in the lead not contacted stage. We're going to click no event needed. We can see it run there. It fired to this one, ran here. It says it's running currently, and then it did fire the Zapier one. So let's go look in here. This is the one that should have run, and there it is. It has 5 tasks waiting. Property, company, CAM, project URL does not exist, and so we need to go update that HubSpot deal inside of here, and let's go double check what exists inside of here. So we have the company CAM public URL. So here we had project URL does not exist. So I actually would say the easiest thing to do would probably be inside of here. Let's create another property that's called company CAM project URL. And the name here is the same. It's going to be a deal type. We're going to put this in deal information. We have to go to field type. We want the field type to be single line text. And now if we go back to here, it's saying that it is scheduled. Oh, and here we need to, let's just refresh the whole page. Looks like we're also missing estimate number and quote ID. So you have the Paint Scout quote ID, and that's what we could put, create quote. And then I think the other one, I do like having this estimate number if it doesn't exist. So let's go into their properties here and create that one as well. So estimate number, and that's going to be deal information, and the field type would once again be single line text, create. Now if we come back in here, do a refresh one more time, and then the quote ID we can get rid of, and then continue. And let's go to this one and make sure those are all updated as well. So refresh, still need to get rid of the quote ID. Let's search for the ID field, map that one as well. And go ahead and hit continue and publish. Updated the missing fields in HubSpot. Publish. All right, so now we published it, and once again, we can click here, replay aired steps only, replay aired steps, and it worked. All right, so that is the process to get this new thing up and running. Now, so for we go back high level just to review what's happening. So when I am inside of a quote here, and let's refresh this and just double check that it all got connected and updated and everything. So now it's in the bid scheduled stage. That all looks great. Estimated Paint Scout quote ID. This I think actually could become a problem because I think we might have remapped some stuff there. So we do need to check and just make sure that the way that we've structured all this is still consistent with what like the way it was set up before. So I'm going to pull up estimate number, and we're going to put that right next to quote ID. So estimate number, quote ID, company CAM, public URL, and we also have the project URL. That's fine, that's in there. So I'm going to hit save and exit. And so now we can see the estimate number is that, the Paint Scout quote ID is that. What I want to make sure though is that in the next automation, when a job is won, are we sending the correct thing, which would be estimate number, to their one job automation. So we'll do that in a separate video, but this setup here, you should be able to test this now by going to any contact, and I should be able to make a new deal. And this is the final stage of testing to just verify that we're set. So I create a deal, and then in the qualification questions here, so I need to assign a deal owner. That a valid one, save, and click the booking link. Now it's going to take me to Chris, and when I click here, it has auto-filled my name, the name because that's associated to the contact, the email and phone because that's from the contact, the job site address is not present, so that's going to be blank, and yeah, so that link works. Now we're going to test the second one. We could even try, like, what if I do web search, for example, or let's say I put in a project type and hit save and try that again. I should see all those fields mapping to the correct part of the You Can Book Me form. So when I see here, project type map, the source, where's the source? How'd you hear about us? So that's not mapping. That's interesting. So we're gonna have to fix that. So in order to fix that, we need to go in and go to You Can Book Me. And let's look at the page here. So this is called booking form, and we have this field that's called source. How'd you hear about us? So what we need to do is in the automation that when that runs, so we're going to look here, when we do the calendar and it creates the URL that it redirects to. We have to look for that field that is called source, and it's taking the properties, marketing sources, and so it's taking marketing sources, and what we want it to be taking is, so at this step here, let's grab just the deal ID. So we'll grab that, copy, click here. We're going to run this module only. So in this case, we want to make sure that the field that we are putting in here is the right one. So this is taking that marketing sources field, which is a multi-select, and it's replacing the apostrophe or the semicolon with a comma, because that's how HubSpot needs it. You're just going to use source property, click OK, and hit save. Let's go try it one more time. Go to here. We're using email and text. Open up the You Can Book Me page, and email and text fills. Okay, so that's all working. And then for the no calendar, what should happen is if I click this, it should run, process through everything, take me back to the deal. It now says bid scheduled, sales pipeline. And in just a moment, the other automations should run, and this should be switched to the correct deal name. So let's refresh that. Still waiting for Zapier to come through. And we'll wait another 30 or 60 seconds. I think it just has a delay in firing. It did fire here, so we know that worked, and it did send it to Zapier. So it should just be a delay. There it is, it ran. Let's go check and refresh. And there we go. We have the correct deal ID. So we are all set there. So that's a little bit of a verification or setup process that's needed, but I think the rest of this looks good, and we are all set with this automation. Hopefully this was valuable. This is a very technical automation. We do this type of stuff all the time, so let us know what else you'd like to see, and I'll walk you through some of the other cool stuff that we're doing here at Blue.